everyone, welcome back to the very last Yellowjackets Season 2 recap and review here on Infamous Virus. Season 2, Episode 9, Storytelling. Heavy is the head that wears the antler crown is a lesson you don't learn until much later in life, if you ever even learn it at all. Everything's about to get really wild, wilderness, and we're so excited, and so scared to find out who paid attention to what lessons and when. So, on the count of 3, you may pick up your pencil, open your testing booklet, and start this finale exam. 1, 2, season finale. So I fucking jinxed myself, and I thought that if I didn't go on Twitter as soon as I got up, I wouldn't be spoiled. But you know that thing that Twitter does, where sometimes it like notifies you of just random fucking tweets to get you to go check Twitter? Yeah, the first one I got this morning was from like a Yellowjackets fan account, and literally before I had even gotten out of bed, the tweet was like, I can't believe they burnt the cabin down, and then the link to a picture, and I was like, great, like, fucking, I'm spoiled. I'm not even out of bed, and the episode's been spoiled. So yeah, I went into this episode knowing that the cabin was gonna burn down. So right off the bat, this was just like, here we fucking go. Like, this shit's gonna be crazy. The season 1 finale was nuts, because Jackie died. I expected this to just be on the same level. The episode starts off with a needle drop of Zombie by the Cranberries, which was really great and I think fit the mood a lot of the Yellowjackets, coming with Javi's body on the pyre. And sort of since the season 2 trailer dropped, they had shown the shot of the body being carried on the pole, and everyone was sort of speculating who it was. For a while, a lot of people thought it was going to be Crystal. What the fuck happened to Crystal? Where did she go? Why did we never get any resolution to that? Why was that just completely written out of the story? No one wondered where her body went. Like, what the hell? Anyways, hopefully they talk about that in season 3. But yeah, people were speculating who the body was going to be, and then sort of last episode we kind of figured out who it was going to be. It was Javi, who's getting turned into Javioli this episode. So I thought all of the adult Yellowjackets sort of gaslighting Lottie, and like Lottie giving Shauna a hug was mean. It was mean. Lottie is not doing great right now. She's fucked up, and now her childhood best friends are all lying to her because she's having a psychotic break or something, and the wilderness and all that. There's something so complex about female friendships and like pretending to comfort someone with everyone else in the room fully knowing that you're just comforting them for show and it's not actually genuine, and there's a secret sort of meaning behind it, or like alternative methods or whatever. I can't think of the words right now. I have a whole video essay on Yellowjackets that I'm writing, so it's just constantly spiraling through my head, just the tragedy and beauty of female friendships and being a teenage girl. So you'll hear that eventually. So also in this little scene of the adult Yellowjackets sort of figuring out what to do with Lottie, Nat says, "We got over it." And then you just think about everything that happens later in this episode. It's like, no, you guys did not get over this. And it's very obvious you didn't. So stop lying to yourselves. Also, watching the opening credits, I saw there was a shot of the black box, and I don't remember seeing that in any of the other episodes. As we know, the girls are going to be spending a lot more time outside now, so it wouldn't surprise me if it gets stumbled upon early on in season 3, because I have a feeling that they're probably going to return to the plane for shelter. So, teenage Lottie's still looking rough up there in the cabin, in the attic, after her Shauna beating. I'm wondering what sort of the jump is going to be between the finale and the start of season 3. Are they going to go right to like spring? Are we going to get to see them sort of struggle through winter into the transition to spring at all? Because obviously with spring comes rain, especially in Canada. We don't have a real spring. It rains and it's really cold, and then you'll get like a random snowstorm after like 3 beautiful days that you're not prepared for. So I'm really excited to see what they do with that, and I hope that they stick sort of true to what the Canadian spring is like. Yeah, and then Misty goes up to sort of inform Lottie on Javi's death and sort of what their plan is. And they're so chill about cannibalism now. They fully know that like that's where they're getting food for the winter. They're like, we just have to kill and eat each other. It's fine. It's fine. We're eating our friends. It's okay. They're just so chill when it comes to cannibalism now. It's a little funny how they ate one friend by accident and they're like, you know what? This ain't half bad. So Lottie is obviously not on board with the whole eating Javi, hunting each other thing. But Misty goes downstairs and lies to everyone and says that Lottie was happy with what they did and it was the right thing to do. In the episode where Crystal died, like, one of the things Crystal said to Misty before she died was that Misty was a bad liar, and I feel like since then, Misty has had to tell so many lies. So I don't know if her lying is just getting better, or maybe the lack of food is just fogging everyone's brains so much they can't tell what's a good lie and what's a bad lie. They strip Javi down and they get ready to butcher him. And I saw a post on Reddit earlier in the week sort of talking about Javi dying and stuff. And they said there was, I'll see if I can find it and I'll read it. But one line that sort of stuck with me was they didn't eat the baby, but in a sense they still ate the baby. Where they didn't eat Shauna's baby, but they still ate the baby of the group, which was Javi. He was significantly younger than everyone. He was the youngest person there. So in a sense, he's technically the baby. I consider myself the baby in the workplace because I'm the youngest, and I'm 22. So yeah, that line just fucking like haunted me the entire episode. It was like they didn't eat the baby, but they still ate the baby. Obviously, they had a lot more thought going into this, though. I mean, them eating Jackie was sort of a fluke. And sort of the wilderness giving them food and stuff. Obviously, they didn't plan for the snow to fall onto the pyre and have it sort of like slow cook Jackie really well. So I think that they've probably got chunks of Javi up in the meat shed hanging out for a bit. But obviously the meat shed is probably burnt down now. I forgot about that. So I don't know if Javi is gonna still be a credible food source in season 3, because I don't know, the meat shed was pretty close to the cabin. I don't think it was connected, but it was pretty close, and I feel like there's sort of nothing they can do to stop the fire from spreading, especially once like the structure of the cabin starts falling apart. I think it's all gonna fall inwards and outwards, and the meat shed's going down. But this could also be a good thing, because maybe all the smoke and fire in the forest will alert the authorities that there's a forest fire and they'll be found, but that seems way too early for this to happen. So Misty goes snooping around Lottie's office, finds the box with the phones, and then someone walks in. And as soon as I saw the shoes, I was like, this is Walter. Walter is here. Elijah Wood is here. And it was really nice to see him and Misty sort of reunite. I was hoping we were going to get some more scenes with them this episode, but this episode covered so many different people and so much stuff. So obviously they didn't have time for it. I kind of wish that it was an hour-and-a-half long finale. I feel like you could have fit a lot more scenes in it, because there's the whole like secret 10 episode being cut thing rumor that was going on. So yeah, I would have liked to see some more Misty and Walter this episode, but I'm happy with how it sort of left them off. So Ty and Van are making the masks for the adult wilderness hunt, and Van said something along the lines of Thaisa being just as sick as Lottie in terms of like believing in the wilderness stuff, because obviously Thaisa's sleepwalking and stuff. That line hit me. I wish I could remember exactly what it was, but it was like, man, like, burn! The other adults are also sort of prepping for this hunt as well. We see Shauna. I thought she was sharpening the knives. I was like, oh, fuck, like, the butcher is back, baby. But she was actually dulling them all. And then Natalie, I guess, burns the extra queen card, or, like, prepares the queen. I don't know. They didn't show the card completely burning, but I think they showed a Sharpie on the counter or something. But anyways, they're all ready for that. We see Jeff and Cali in the car on their way to the compound to go save Shauna. And Callie's drinking bubbly. She's drinking a lime bubbly, which is honestly probably one of the best flavors of bubbly. So I was very happy to see some bubbly representation in Yellowjackets. Bubbly, please sponsor me. And Showtime, please send me a Yellowjackets jacket. So we're going to have a little family reunion here, and Cali and Jeff are going to show up at the compound. But then sort of as they're trying to find another way in, we find out that Kevin Tran and the bastard Syracusa are also there, and they followed them. They almost get fender-bendered with Jeff, because he backs up so abruptly, he doesn't see the car coming behind him. So there was almost a fender-bender there that we would have had to worry about. We get a really harrowing scene between Lisa and Natalie, where Natalie is, like, telling Lisa, like, get the fuck out of here, like, go somewhere else. Like, thank you for trying to teach me forgiveness, but I just don't think that's the type of person I am. But also, shit's gonna go down tonight, so please fucking leave. I thought that was a really good scene. I was thinking we were gonna get a little bit more from Lisa this episode. I thought there would be some sort of tie-in for her. I mean, she does technically get a tie-in at the end to sort of what's going on, but I do wish we had seen... See, that's why I wanted it to be a longer episode, because I wanted more scenes between characters and stuff. I think that would have been really, really good. Coach Ben comes back, alive and well. He really snowproofed the fuck out of those crutches to go there and back and just be literally completely fine. I also have no idea how he was sustaining himself for that journey, because I think he's been gone for a little bit now. At least overnight, I think. But anyways, Van gets really fucking dark talking to Travis and being like, no, I'm not ashamed that we, like, killed your brother and we're gonna eat him now. Like, that's life out here now. That's what the wilderness wants. It was like, holy fuck, Vanessa. What is that all about? It was a really big character development, I think, because just a couple episodes, she was talking to Thaisa, and she was like, yeah, I don't know what my purpose is out here, and, like, I keep being spared from all these near-death experiences, like, I don't know why I'm here, and stuff, which is just crazy seeing how much just all of this has fueled their belief in the wilderness and, like, higher powers out there with them. I still don't really know which side I'm on. I don't know if I believe that there's some sort of entity out there influencing their lives and choices and stuff, and I also don't know if it's all made up in their heads and stuff, because I think about things that, like, you know, like, you make up on the playground and you believe are, like, completely true, but it's just sort of a collective delusion, in a sense. So Kevin Tran enters the compound kitchen to the sounds of Elijah Wood singing. I think it's from a musical. I don't know. I didn't recognize it. I also thought his, like, fake shock to Kevin going into the kitchen was really funny. He acted like a bad actor so well. Like, you can so obviously tell that he's hamming it up here to seem like he's to seem like Walter is a bad actor. And then as soon as he gave Kevin the hot cocoa, I was like, his ass is getting drugged. I was like, he's getting knocked the fuck out. But then while sort of Walter and Kevin are bantering, Jeff shows up, and my note was the himbo convention incoming. I think Jeff is really the only himbo in this show. So it was just a funny line. I think in Letterboxd reviews for things, guys, Letterboxd ruined my brain, and I have to think of quick, witty responses to everything that happens in movies that I could turn into Letterboxd reviews. So one thing that happened in this episode that I was pretty sure was going to happen was Jeff sort of confessing that he killed Adam, even though we know that's not the truth, but I knew that he was going to do that to, like, sort of save his family and stuff, and obviously not to have Cali and Shauna go to jail or whatever, have all three of them go to jail. And obviously that's not going to come into play anymore in the rest of the season, because Kevin is fucking dead. Yeah, I have no idea what they're going to do in the present day timeline now, because obviously all the loose ends got tied up this season, but we'll get into more of that later. So pretty much as soon as they knock Kevin out, like, shit hits the fan in this episode. Coach Ben is back at Javi's tree thing. Shauna brings in sort of the tray of meat with Javi's meat on it, and Travis bites the heart. And, like, one thing I noticed, and, like, I will commend all the actors for, is while they're waiting for the meat, they're all fucking, like, seething. They're literally like animals, because obviously they're so hungry. But yeah, it was like, man. And then Travis bites the heart and throws it in the pan, and then they're all throwing the meat in the pan. And I wrote a witty response, which was, they're overcrowding the pan and the meat's not going to brown properly. But I don't really think that matters to them. They just want to cook it enough so they can eat it. So as adult Lottie is preparing for the hunt, they play a Buffy St. Marie song. I thought it was a really good choice for Lottie. I feel like it reflected how she feels in the moment. I thought it was a really good song choice. And then we see Natalie tucking a knife away in her jacket, and I knew that something bad was gonna happen. Like, at this point, I was getting so sucked into it that I literally couldn't write notes anymore, because there was so much happening. So I just wrote, shit's going crazy. And then Cali runs into Syracusa in the woods, and she has the gun, and she's, like, gonna shoot him, and then he has to go, like, find Kevin, and he gets, like, uncomfortably close to her, and is like, I'll be back, or, like, we'll pick this up later. And it's like, he's so fucking gross, and I hate that he lived. I wish he would die. I wish he had died. But I have a feeling we're gonna see more from him, probably in season 3, unfortunately. I also found that adult Lottie she was way too excited about the hunting ritual thing. And obviously, where the state she's in, it's totally understandable, but it was like, oh my god, girl, like, she's so excited. It's like me when I was getting ready to watch this episode. I was like, I got in the door and I was up here watching it before I could even take a breath. And then Van starts, like, changing up what they had planned, and it's like, great, you've lost it too now. And then I thought it was maybe because Van wanted to be killed instead and sort of, like, sacrifice herself in a sense, because we know that she doesn't have long to live. And then I was worried that Natalie thinking she was going to pull the queen again and have it sort of be a parallel to the last episode. And then there is a really cool sort of parallel transition thing where they're all picking the cards and it's VHS tape transition flashing between them now and them picking the cards in the last episode. I thought that was really, really cool. And then Shauna pulls the queen. And at first I was like, oh, that must mean that Shauna's the Antler Queen. Even I don't believe that, but I was just simply going off of what was happening. They all just fucking snap and they're chasing Shauna. And then Syracusa finds Kevin in the trunk and he opens it, but before he can do anything, Walter ambushes him and grabs his gun and shoots Kevin, and Kevin's dead. And then Cali comes out and shoots Lottie for almost killing Shauna. My next two notes were everything is fucked. Oh, everything is so fucked. And then Natalie fucking dies. And I didn't think that they were going to do that. I've been sort of more into the Yellowjackets subreddit this season, and especially a lot more the past couple weeks and stuff. And I know a lot of people were like, I think something's going to happen to Natalie. Like, Juliette Lewis is getting really emotional talking about Natalie in all these interviews. Like, I think something is going to happen to her. And I was like, nuh-uh. I was like, no, not my girl. Nothing is going to happen to Natalie. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. But they fucking lied to us and she's dead now. And like dead. There's no way she can come back from that. And then the paramedics are wheeling her body away and they say like drug overdose death. So I don't know if maybe they skewed the story or whatever to make it sound like Natalie like killed herself instead of being stabbed. I mean, obviously they're going to do that so that no one else is sort of incriminated or like associated with the case at all. I guess is a good cover, but it is sort of disappointing because it's sort of sad that Natalie will only be sort of like seen as an addict who overdosed and not someone who was trying to protect a friend from dying. So I think that's something we will probably be discussing Natalie's death a lot in season 3 because everyone is going to be bonded and fucked up from that, especially Misty. They used a lot of slow-mo in this end sequence, and I don't think that they actually shot it in slow motion. I think they shot it in real time and then slowed it down in post-production. This might just be because I'm an editor, but it just looked so, like, choppy and, like, goofy, because they wouldn't just move in slow motion. They'd sort of move, like, they'd, like, tick or whatever, because when you slow down real-time stuff, it breaks it down into, like, the frames. It's not, like, a smooth motion. That's a poor explanation, but that's how it computes in my brain. But anyways, I didn't think the slow motion looked good, and if they were going to do slow motion stuff, they should have shot it in slow motion. But obviously that costs money and takes more time. But yeah, the slow motion was really choppy. And then Lottie says, like, the wilderness is happy with their selection or whatever. And Van gives a really, like, weird, like, happy, devastated look. And I'm just wondering if, like, Van is gonna, like, I know the wilderness has nothing to do with Van getting cancer, but I'm almost wondering if that's gonna, like, sustain her life at all. Like, I feel like in season 3 we could definitely see an episode of her, like, getting a checkup or whatever, and they're like, no, like, the cancer's gone or whatever. Like, I'm interested to see how they do that, because obviously I was a little worried we were gonna lose Van this episode and have her, like, sacrifice herself as an adult to keep the other Yellowjackets alive where she knew she didn't have long to live. We'll find out next season when it happens. And then the cabin is set on fire, and we know who did it. It was Coach Ben. I thought Shauna saving her journals was really smart. I'm glad that no one got hurt or died in the fire, because that would have been really tragic. But it's like, holy fuck, like, Coach Ben wants them to die so bad. He like, barricaded them in there to, like, not get out. He wanted them to fucking die. That's so, like, insane. Like, you're the only adult, and this is a group of children that you've, like, sort of involuntarily been told to take care of, and because they're being traumatized out here and making reckless decisions and doing violent things, like, you're just gonna up and abandon them and live in a tree stump and fucking kill them all in, like, the cabin that's provided them shelter all winter. Like, they're gonna fucking die out in the snow. Like, he really wanted them all to die. If they find out it's him next episode, he's dying. They're gonna fucking murder him for burning down the cabin. They have nowhere to go now. They have the plane, but the plane isn't, like, it isn't the cabin at all. And especially now, it's probably all snow. It's not like they have the supplies that they had at the cabin to dig the snow out. They don't have all the bowls and stuff. So it's just, it's fucked. A really crazy way to end this, because I don't know where they're gonna pick it up in season 3. Are they just gonna show us that they survived the winter somehow? I don't want to see them struggle, but at the same time, I do really want to see how they're going to make it through the rest of this winter and even spring with no, like, intact shelter to live in. So yeah, I guess we're gonna find that out probably late next year. It really all depends on the writers' strike at this point. If only companies wanted to pay their writers fair wages and give them, like, residuals for streaming stuff and pay them fairly, we wouldn't have this issue, because we know the day the writers' strike started was supposed to be day 2 of the season 3 writers' room for Yellowjackets. So I feel like it's probably gonna be a while before we see season 3, unfortunately. Which means that I'm gonna have to find something to cover for this Friday slot. Because I did The Last of Us, and then I had a week off, and then I started doing this. What horror show is next? What should I cover? I really want to do Dead Ringers. I've been meaning to do Dead Ringers for a really long time. It'll happen eventually. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, let me know what you thought of the season 2 finale down in the comments. Were you disappointed by it? Were you happy with it? Was there anything you would change or whatever? Do you think there's a secret 10th episode out there, or a bonus episode like Euphoria does that's going to come out soon? We never saw Cabin Daddy. I think Jason Ritter's playing him. I think there's photos of him on set. Maybe that'll come out soon. But anyways, yeah, this was a fucking crazy finale. I'd love to discuss it with you guys, so please let me know what you think down in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and stay groovy.